Hi, this is Brandon Reed, Senior Account Manager with Exam Master. And today we're going to talk about some of the challenges that pharmacy schools are facing with admissions, and specifically we're going to take a look at our new pharmacy pre-matriculation resource and how it can benefit your incoming pharmacy students prior to their enrollment and throughout their P1 year. We all understand some of the more recent problems that pharmacy programs have been facing over the past 5 to 10 years. These problems include things like a declining applicant pool, less quality applicants, less than a 1-to-1 applicant to seat ratio, declining enrollments, lack of progression throughout the P1 year, increased attrition rates, and decreased NAPLEX pass rates. These are all challenges that you know and understand very well, and so do we. So several years ago, because of these issues, pharmacy programs reached out to us for help to develop a readiness exam to assess their incoming students on key prereqs like biochemistry, math, organic chemistry, and so on. Because of issues like grade inflation, it's very tough to tell if an incoming student will be strong or weak in these key areas, regardless of their undergraduate GPA. So we developed this readiness exam, and it worked really well to identify students' weaknesses. But then faculty asked, so what do we do now? Faculty knew by the time they've identified these weaknesses, it's likely too late, and we realized a remediation resource was needed to follow up with the readiness exam. And we also realized that faculty really don't have any time to remediate students during the P1 year. So we wanted to help find a solution here, and we knew we had to do it in a partnership with pharmacy programs. So we reached out to many pharmacy programs for guidance, and we even created a partnership with LECOM School of Pharmacy to help build a robust pre-matriculation resource, and that's what we did. So now let's explore what this program does, how easy it is to implement, and we'll discuss some of the key benefits and outcomes that you can expect to get out of it. Before we go into the platform itself, we're going to take a quick look at this PDF to show an overview of all that's included. Essentially, with our pre-mat resource, your students will start with a baseline exam to identify their weaknesses in each key prerequisite, followed by learning modules and a summative exam on each key prereq as well. Our entire pre-mat program is done online, from any device, and it can be done months before your students start their first day of class. Although we do allow students to use this program throughout their P1 year for supplemental remediation as needed. Also, you don't have to wait until your entire cohort is selected, so if you have rolling admissions, we can set up your students as you select them. Also, this is a turnkey, self-paced resource for students, although faculty can be involved to provide guidance and direction as needed. We found that schools have the most success with this resource when they mandate it and when they have faculty track progression and provide support and mentoring when needed. This resource can also help to identify your problem students, as you'll be able to track which students have utilized the resource and are actually taking it seriously. So, the first phase of this program is a comprehensive baseline exam that each student will take. This 120-question exam was designed to assess specific learning outcomes that are most important to pharmacy, and it gives a good snapshot of your students' strengths and weaknesses in each of these key areas. Again, because of grade inflation, you can't always trust students' GPA in these areas, and so now you can compare your students' performance on our baseline exam with their undergraduate GPA. Also, your faculty will have access to in-depth score reports for each student to see how they performed on the baseline exam. The second phase of the program are our learning modules, which include a series of videos and practice questions covering key learning objectives from each subject included on the baseline exam. We also have modules for time management and critical thinking. As you can see, there are a total of 164 learning objectives covered and almost 700 total quiz questions. We'll take a look at the platform itself in just a minute to demonstrate how each learning module is laid out. At the end of each learning module, students will complete a summative exam that includes questions from each learning objective that students just covered. The questions included on the summative exam are completely unique from the learning module quiz questions and from the benchmark exam questions. Your faculty will receive in-depth score reports from these summative exams to track progression, where you can see if they've improved from the baseline exam. Some programs currently using this resource will reassign these summative exams throughout the P1 year. All in all, the program covers 164 learning objectives that are the most important to pharmacy, and also covers over 1,200 total exam and quiz questions. The entire program should take about 30 to 40 hours to complete, and all we need is the name and email address of each student to get them set up. So now we're going to go into Thinkific and take a look at the actual pre-mat platform itself and a few modules and features. The first module is the introduction section, which includes a resource overview and detailed instructions for students. This is also where students will go to take their baseline exam. Your program can also upload a customized welcome letter to students, providing any special instructions and verbiage that you'd like to include. We even have a few welcome letter templates that you can use as well. You'll see our time management module here, where students will go to create their 168 plan. This was developed by Dr. Bell at LECOM, and it's called a 168 plan as there are 168 hours in a week. This module has students create a detailed schedule showing how they plan to complete our pre-mat resource. Many faculty reassign this module to students during orientation so they can develop a time management plan for their first semester. We also have a critical thinking module here on the second page, and this module, along with our time management module, have been very popular amongst faculty as they really help to prepare students for the rigors of pharmacy school. So now let's move on and go into one of our learning modules. For this demonstration, we'll take a quick look at biochemistry as it's one of the more important modules. As we take a look at this module, I'll point out that we've developed the material for each module with two assumptions in mind. One is that students have already taken these courses, and so the material is just a refresher covering the key aspects and learning objectives. Two is that students are going to review this content in the specific order that we've presented it, as each section is laid out sequentially. So moving on, you'll see that each module starts out with an outline showing each learning objective, and each objective corresponds with a series of videos and follow-up quizzes that you can see on the left side here. As you can see, I've already completed about 25% of this section as I've went through some of the videos and quizzes in previous demos. So your students will be able to track their progression through each module as they complete each video and each quiz. Faculty can track this progression as well for each student. So we'll click on the first video here, Principles of Thermodynamics and Biochemistry, and I'll point out that each video was developed to be an overview of each learning outcome. Most of our videos include helpful graphics and animations, as you can see here, and we also include written text and keywords within each video that students can use as a guide for deeper review on their own time. Once you've finished the video, you can click Complete and Continue, and that will bring you to a quick quiz with key questions from the topics covered in the previous video. As soon as you select your answer choice, you can click Confirm, and students will see immediate feedback showing the correct answer and explanation below. This is a quick 2-question quiz, so we'll go ahead and answer them and finish the exam. I'll click Next to complete the quiz, and then you'll see the answer choice and the explanation for each question below. You'll see you can retake this quiz as many times as you want. Students will click Continue to move on to the next video, and you'll see the system will put a check showing that the quiz has been completed. Moving on, at the very bottom of the last section is a quick survey that students can take to provide some basic feedback on the program. This is followed by the summative exam. Again, our summative exam for each module covers all the learning objectives that were just reviewed from the videos and quizzes above. Again, the questions from the summative exam are completely unique from the quiz and baseline exam questions. And we can set up report access for any faculty member who needs score reporting from the summative and baseline exam and who wants to track progression from each student through the learning modules. Well, I've enjoyed reviewing our pharmacy pre-matriculation resource with you today, and we look forward to scheduling a follow-up webinar session for further review of this resource and to review any other modules in more detail and to answer any questions that you may have. We can also set up demo access for any interested faculty as well. To schedule your follow-up webinar, please contact Jim Pearson, our Vice President of Academic Solutions. You can reach Jim at jpearson@exammaster.com. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.